All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are the Central Rhode Island Chamber, and we're excited to have Nicole and Alicia from the Spark Social with us today. If you missed the first couple episodes, you can check it out on our Facebook page and catch them on YouTube. They are fantastic. So I suggest if you haven't gotten there, go ahead and do that later today. If you guys want to go ahead and get started, Alicia and Nicole, go ahead and take it away.
Absolutely. So we're going to share our screen in a minute. We have a great presentation today on using Facebook for your business, optimizing your presence on Facebook. But first, a little bit about the Spark and who we are. We're a social media marketing agency based out of Providence, Rhode Island, working from home today.
So, most days.
Yeah, most days lately, but helping small businesses in Rhode Island and nearby market on social media and digitally. So Nicole, anything else you want to share about the Spark? You can find us at thespark.social.
Yep, nope, that's pretty much it. I think you covered it today.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we should work on that 60-second pitch. But we'll get right to the point today. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I have a presentation for us. So just give me 1 second.
As always, we have a lot to share in a very short amount of time for us. We could probably talk for hours and hours on this stuff. So just bear with.
And we'll save time for questions. Lauren, it is saying that I think you have to enable screen sharing for me.
Sorry about that. Thought we turned it on.
It happens a lot. It's just one of those things.
I don't default it because we can have some surprises we don't want. So my apologies.
No worries.
Like it's letting me share now. Can everybody see my screen? Excellent. Okay. All right, let me just move my Zoom bar here and put you guys into present mode so that it is the largest view for you. All right.
Oh.
The echo there.
I think we need to mute Miss Madeline.
Oh no. Yeah, if you're not on mute, you just might want to make sure you're on mute because there might be a little feedback or it might pick up background sound. And then you can unmute yourself if you have questions or pop your questions in the chat and we'll save time at the end.
Yeah, I'll definitely be keeping an eye on the chat for questions and we will absolutely make sure we leave time to answer them.
All right, so Facebook 101, maximizing your presence on social. So we're going to jump right in. And I think most people here probably have a business Facebook. It is the most common social media profile out there. It's one of the first players, I would say, besides MySpace. It's been around the longest and it's pretty versatile. So if you want to jump in, Nicole, to explain a little bit about why Facebook may be the right platform or maybe isn't the right platform for your business.
Absolutely. So we always start with a quick reminder because at the end of the day, choosing your platform is about understanding your audience and choosing your content is about understanding your audience. So we like to start with a slide, just kind of a reminder of how to choose the right platform for you and your audience. So identifying who they are and the benefit of Facebook and the reason that it's one of the most universal platforms is because it is the widest and most varied demographic. So you're going to get a lot of people who are, it's very even across the board. So you're going to get younger people, older people, male, female, in various income levels, and lots and lots of interests. Everything on Facebook is based on, what somebody might be interested in. You also want to define your goals. So are you here for understanding how to build brand awareness on Facebook, or are you looking for leads? Do you have an e-commerce platform? Meaning, do you sell, completely online? And then finding your audience. So understanding where they want to spend their time and how do they like to be marketed to. And you choose your platform based off those answers. So for the most part, Facebook is a nice even keel. It's a nice open space for people to get started because there's a lot of people on Facebook and they're used to being marketed to there. So, and then the final one is always how much time and energy do you have? And we'll kind of cover that a little bit in the next couple slides.
And to just give you some up-to-date numbers, because they're changing all the time, Facebook has 2.8 billion monthly active users. That's not total profiles, that's active users. About 1.8 billion of those people actually log in on a daily basis. And the average time I think spent on Facebook, I can't remember the exact hours, but I remember it in scrolling length. So if your finger could scroll the length of a football field a day, that's how much scrolling people do on their tiny little mobile devices. So plenty of FaceTime for you to get in front of your ideal clients on Facebook. If I could figure out how to use my computer, we can go to the next slide. So it's really important that there is a lot. So with that being said, there is a lot of stuff on Facebook. There's your personal connections, there's ads, there's businesses posting organically. For the sake of today's presentation, we're really going to talk about the organic presence of your business. But we're also going to talk about, how to stand out in the feed and what you need to do to kind of break through that noise. Go ahead, Nicole.
So like Alicia's saying, sort of the downside of all of those people and all of those things and all of the other businesses being there is it can be hard to reach your audiences. And you have very limited reach with your organic profiles. So we're going to talk about what it really takes to take your average reach from 2 to 6% to, 10 to sometimes 20%. And also some other interesting ways to kind of fill what we call a top of funnel or sort of open the floodgates to new business. So as you're kind of looking at Facebook and thinking about how you can use it, just keep in mind that if it's not a money investment, it's a time investment. Sometimes it's both. And we will kind of cover what that looks like on Facebook in particular. But you do have an opportunity for, a highly targeted audience because Facebook's ads network is so well, and its algorithm, even beyond the ads network, just its algorithm alone is so well targeted and it understands its users, kind of in a creepy way, but that's okay. But you really have opportunities to kind of get in front of just the right people almost all the time. So.
And if you remember, today's event description was Facebook is unapologetically pay to play. But again, there are some really great ways you can use it organically. So the businesses that can work on Facebook, practically everyone, we just said that in the beginning, but you have different types of industries. So you have food and beverage, technology, software, home-based services, e-commerce, events and networking, hair salons, your dog groomer, your local boutique, whatever it is, it really can have a place on Facebook, and even B2B. So that means business to businesses. There is a place for business to business on Facebook. You just have to have a different brand and a different maybe style of posting than your B2C consumers. And with that being said, even if you're not using Facebook, if you are B2B, and LinkedIn is just always going to be the place where your audience lives for those professional connections, it's still great to have a Facebook for SEO purposes. It's going to help people find you easier on the search page of Google. When your Facebook pops up, your LinkedIn pops up, your website pops up, your Google My Business page pops up, and all the other things associated with you. So it is good to just have it as a placeholder, show that it's professionally branded. And, even at the end of the day, we think of professional connections only happening on LinkedIn. They can very well happen on Facebook if somebody sees your business and it's the right time and place for them. They're still a person when they go home from work, and they're still thinking about what they need to do to make decisions within their business. So there is opportunity there, absolutely. Anything else, Nicole, on the reach and interest behavior targeting?
No, I think that we're gonna dive deeper in that in our follow-up to this one for the advertising. So I think we can kind of, the gloss over it is that where Google or Pinterest might be based on keyword searching, Facebook is based primarily on your interest in the actions that you're taking online. So just jumping right in, we are starting with, the basics here. So this is Page Manager, or well, yes, it is Page Manager. And how you find it is usually on the left side of your screen under your name, you'll see pages, or if you're, tired of having to scroll to find your own page, you'll add it to the top of your shortcuts. It's pretty easy to do. And it takes you right over to this Page Manager. Now, there's a couple of versions in here, Page Manager, Business Manager. At one point, we look very briefly at Creator Studio. Facebook will kind of auto set up for you where you go. You can always find your way back to some of the older versions, not necessarily an older version of Page Manager, but if it keeps sending you to Creator Studio and you don't like it, you can go back to Page Manager by, going to your page and looking for Manage Page. So just letting you know that, yes, there are 1,000 ways to manage your page on Facebook. And it can get a little hairy when you're trying to figure it out because sometimes Facebook changes things overnight and doesn't let you know. So this is obviously Spark's page manager, and you have a ton of options on the left, from everything from managing a online shop to covering, to answering your messages both on Facebook and Instagram, right in Page Manager, setting up your events and making changes to your page, which we'll talk a little bit about in optimization.
To be noted, this is desktop view. It's
Yes.
perfectly okay to be logging in from your phone and checking on notifications and things, but we do recommend going in once a week on desktop because you can go through some of these tabs in depth, and there's kind of more of a insight in the desktop view, and we're going to dive into that.
A little bit. So this is Business Manager. And so it's just the flip side for those of you who have it set up. You know that you go to business.facebook.com to grab it. It's also where you'd set up an ads platform, which we will go through. You'll hear that a lot today in our next or final series workshop in the series. Just so that you can see that, there are other options. This will still take you back to Page Manager, but if you're used to going through Business Manager, this is what it would look like for you. So that's the only reason I included.
There was a comment in the chat where they can find this in their settings, and we can do at the end like a real-time type of just showing you how to get to these options on desktop. So on this page, we really want to talk about your profile and what you need to do to optimize that profile. It's actually really simple. There's a lot of arrows and things you can do, but at the end of the day, it's just making sure that your cover photo is catching and updated. You have to have some good photography or some graphics design to really make it branded. So this is your cover photo at the top. We advocate always leaving your profile picture as your logo. One, because it's very small, and two, because when it's people are mostly going to interact with your content off the page. So the profile picture, just like a person, it would be the face of your business. So that should be the logo always tied to the post in the feed. And on top of that, it's just, for brand awareness, you want that logo just front and center. Now you do have a call, action button here on your Facebook page. And again, most of the interaction does happen in the feed, not on the page, but time to time, people will come to your Facebook page. They just need to call quick. They just need to message quick. Use that call to action button. You'll see CTA button is something we say, call to action button. Use that button for what you want to direct your users to do. Are you a shop? Get them to shop now. Are you a service? Get them to call now. Are you trying to get people to book online? These are all things you can do. You can even use your cover photo. I've seen it where they direct people with a little arrow, now offering reservations at our distillery room. Book now, little arrow, book now, leads them right through to the website. So you can change that up as often as you want. You can leave it if you want to, but think about what you are trying to direct people to do, and you'll have some options there. The other thing is you want to make sure you have your about section filled out. It's a quick little glance that people can see, oh, they're a distillery and they're a liquor brand, and I can buy them in stores. Whatever that little about section may be. Very similar to Instagram actually, and how you set up your profile there. But I would say these are your key components on your Facebook profile page. Make sure they're complete along with your business website, hours, and phone number. Anything else, Nicole, here?
Yep, just the handle that makes sense. So sometimes somebody's going to try to tag you or search for you online, and you do want to make sure that the little @ that you choose for your sort of page nickname does actually have something to do with the page and isn't completely different, so that when somebody is searching, it's sort of, they're searching in a way that makes sense. So they know that you're Rhode Island Spirits. And as you can see, Rhode Island Spirits main brand is Rhodium, but if they put Rhodium there, nobody would be able to find them on Facebook. So just make sure that it has some sort of very, solid connection to your actual name. And that's it.
All right. So page info is when you're on the tab on desktop. This is how it looks. Again, You can do most of this on your phone, but we recommend desktop because it's just easier to work with. So page info is how you fill out all these things, the description, the categories, the the about section. You can tag up to 3, I think. How many categories? Like 3, 4, maybe even 5 right now.
Yeah, something like that. I want to say it's 3, or maybe it's only 3 that makes sense for Spark.
So you can go in here and make sure your categories are up to date, and don't set it and forget it, because once in a while Facebook will switch some of these sections around, and then you're missing data, or you think something's filled out but it's not complete. So go in and check it once in a while. There's also message settings, which we'll get into, on how you can have little pop-ups so people can message your page right when they get to it. And you'll also see you can tabs. That's when you're on the page and you can showcase what you want people to see, just like a website. So when you get to a website, it has the menu bar, and what you want people to see when they get to the Facebook page, you can choose. So you have to choose what makes sense for you. Don't check them all off. They won't all fit. I think you have to pick like 3 or 4 that will show, Nicole.
Yes, there are some required ones, as you can see. So like there are ones that Facebook feels are most important: your photos, videos, your about section, community, which is usually where your reviews and public posts lie. And then you can set it up by templates, but just be careful doing that, because some templates will give you automatic messaging questions, and we'll cover that in a second. Yeah, so just yeah, you can turn them on and off, obviously. So if you don't have a shopping page, you can turn it off. If you don't have a job, like if you don't put job offers out on your Facebook, you want to turn that off, and it just helps keep things clean and less cluttered.
All right. So Facebook content, when you're done optimizing your page, making sure that those things are filled out, and I would recommend to everyone today, it only takes a couple minutes to go look and just make sure it's filled out. If it's not, put it on your to-do list. But the next thing after you've optimized the profile is you actually have to post, right? And again, this is where we talk about unapologetically pay to play. Facebook does downplay businesses, unfortunately, unlike Instagram, but it is hard to reach people. However, it is not impossible. And there are still ways you want to, there are still ways to reach people, and you want to have a professional presence no matter what. So, video. Let's talk about these different types of content here, Nicole.
So video is larger, it's underlined, and it's bold for a reason. If you don't know by now, social media's best type of content is always video, and that's no different from Facebook. In fact, I feel like Facebook doubles down on that. You can run specific ads just for video views. You can have massive amounts of reach if you use video. And it's just the platform itself is set up to really optimize for video. A couple of things to keep in mind. Most people watch video on their mobile device. They watch it with the sound off, so you really do want to make sure that you use captions as much as possible. Sugar, what was the other one? It was in my head and now it's gone. That's so embarrassing. Sorry, guys. I will think of it in just a second. But you just want to make sure that your video, it doesn't have to be necessarily professionally shot. And you can usually find a way to auto-generate captions. You just want to check them for anything weird. So you don't want any accidental cuss words or dirty words or anything like that. The occasional like mixed up sentence isn't going to like really bother people. You're also, you can also, oh, sorry, that was what it was. See, I told you I'd remember. Facebook benefits most from what we call a native upload. And that's where you actually take the MP4, or if you are really old school, the MP3, and upload it directly into Facebook rather than posting it as a link from a YouTube page or, even a Vimeo or anything like that. So as often as you actually like own the video, say you took it on your phone, you upload it into Facebook. You can also upload it onto YouTube, but your best Facebook is going to perform better if you upload it directly from your phone into Facebook. It just is the way Facebook behaves.
Yeah.
So those are the main things to remember from video. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, Facebook always wants to keep users on Facebook whenever possible. It's a little back and forth because when you're running ads and things, they do want you to have optimal results. So that means getting people to your website to purchase or check out or call or something is an action that they want to happen. But with organic posts, and it's for the most part, try to keep people on Facebook. And that's hard because you have a blog, you got to link to it. You have something on your website, you want them to see more, you have to link to it. But again, try to keep that a percentage of your posts. And a good way to do that is video, keeping it native on Facebook. Images, we'll talk more about that too, but try to keep them authentic, just like Instagram. Facebook users, when they're scrolling through their feed, we have, ad blockers on as people, and we tend to screen out things that might look too much like stock images or too advertising, salesy, whatever. So keep it authentic. Images of your business, images of you, images of your product. I know if it's service-based, it gets a little tricky, which we talked about in our Instagram workshop, but we'll talk about ways around that. We have some great examples. Facebook Lives, it's another type of video. If you go to the Sparks page, you see that we do them probably every other week. Our team actually forces us to do them and schedules us to do them. So there's no way around it. But it actually helps our algorithm. We see our reach go up on the regular, and you can see how many people were reached with these Facebook Lives. So hold yourself accountable or have someone schedule you for a live and just get on there and talk. It doesn't matter if people don't show up at that very moment. Those Facebook Lives will live on your page as video content. And because it's live, it's much more forgiving in the format. It does not have to be professional. Make sure your sound is good, make sure your lighting is good, and then get on there and talk about what you're passionate about. Stories are similar. Facebook stories, you'll see them when you log in on mobile. They sit right at the top of your phone, and they are similar to Instagram stories. We'll go into that too. And then types of posts. So you have long format and short format. Try both and see what works. But at the end of the day, no matter how you do it, you want to keep your brand voice intact. You want to have interesting information. Those first few lines are key. If you don't catch people in those first few lines, they are not going to read on, just like a website or anything, except with Facebook, I think you have like a millisecond. So make those first few lines captivating, and we'll talk about that a little bit more too. Also, if it's long format, you're going to want to space it out, which we'll get into. Links to articles and publications. Yes, you have to do it because we don't always have content that we can just keep on Facebook. So if it's a curated article, say you're in a professional service, like you're an accountant, and some new information comes out about the PPP loan or something of that nature, post it, but also put your commentary in, like telling them the PPP loan has revised their blah blah blah, this is how we feel about it, this is what we're telling our clients to do. Are you confused? You can talk to us, send us a message. So add content to that curated article. So curated is when you take it from somewhere else, owned is when it's your blog, your website. And then Nicole has just about anything here. What else is that, Nicole? Pictures of your dog.
Yep. No, pictures of pets always do well. And we actually have like very specific ways that you can use, odd content that you wouldn't really think about. I do want to address a couple of questions from the chat. We have Monica just asks, should we be posting different content on Facebook versus Instagram? She in particular finds that she has a different audience on Facebook, so she connects both Facebook and Instagram. And I think my basic response to that would be that's totally fine, as long as the content that is going out on Instagram also serves the people who are following you on Facebook. And if not, but it's easier that way, if not, maybe there's like a few other things that you could include on Facebook that you can't put out on Instagram as easily, like links to articles and things like that, that you could use on Facebook as well. So you get a little bit more freedom in what you post on Facebook. But if it's
if it works on Instagram, it most likely will work on Facebook, but not vice versa.
Exactly.
But I think the kicker for you is different audiences. So then it comes down to like time, like, do you have time to customize it? Mm-hmm. So it really depends.
Exactly. And then Allie asks, what about if you upload a video from your laptop? Yeah, that's fine. That's no different from uploading from your phone. Sorry if I made that seem different. No. Just most of us are like kind of using our phone. So, and then Trisha just asked, are Reels something that can be incorporated into Facebook? I would say Facebook doesn't have the same platform that Instagram does specifically for Reels, but if you're sharing a Reel into your story on Instagram, you can have it I think you can have it flow over to Facebook.
Yeah, there's probably a way to post it. I just don't know if there's a place for like a home for them on the profile. I don't think so yet.
I don't think so.
They probably just go into your videos tab. But Reels, for those who are wondering, are short little videos kind of similar to TikToks, and Reels are
It's a rip off of TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
But primarily live on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
But I do think that's a hack. Like you could have it flow over to your Facebook stories from Instagram stories.
I think most people know how to create a post, but I just, you can schedule posts too. You can go, again, this is desktop view, so it does give you some more options on desktop. So, but mostly, you have these options when you log in, so you can add options like check in, tag a sponsor, you can add a feeling. I encourage you to play around with these. I'm not going to go through each one here because there are so many, but when posting, try different things and see what works. And we'll talk about that. So on this page, what you're going to want to do is log in once a week and see what works. Don't just post and never look back. So we featured one of our awesome clients here. And we do this for our clients, obviously. And we log into the page on the left, and there's tons of stuff you can see in the Insights tab. So again, when you're on your desktop manager, you go to the left-hand side, there's Insights, and you can log in and see these types of things. You can see your demographics, where your fans are from. You can dig right into what other pages that you're following, competitors are, how you rank against them. But if you had to just look at this for 2 minutes a week, we would say, look at the time of day that you should be posting, because that's going to help you schedule or post in real time future content. We encourage doing both. You can schedule when you're busy, but also if you have something spur of the moment, go in and post it, because that's going to help the algorithm too when you post in real time. And yes, third-party schedulers will start to downplay your algorithm. Unfortunately, there's benefits to schedulers, but there's disadvantages. But go in and see what time of day works to post, and try to post like a couple hours before your audience hits online, because that gives the post, if you think about your post as maturing, you want it out at noon so that it's starting to pick up traction. Like picture it as like I don't know, like a ball.
Snowball.
Yeah, something, and it's picking up speed. So it's not like post, reach 1 million people. Doesn't work like that. It's called the algorithm for a reason. And so what Facebook does is the post gets out there. Facebook in the background, if Facebook was a person, it'd be saying, are people liking this? Is it picking up? Okay, it's gaining traction. Okay, people are liking it. People are clicking on it. I'm going to show it to more people, because Facebook wants the most engagement from its users. It wants a good experience for its users. So Facebook is looking at that post and thinking, its algorithm is thinking like, should I be showing this to more people? And that's how things go viral. That's how things stick around. Share, like, engage. It's very hard to go viral. We've done it, but it's very tricky. And on that note, you don't have to go viral. You can just be happy with reaching a good portion of your followers. So on the right, this page has, I think, around 750 followers. And the stat is you're supposed to reach like 6 to 10% every time. But on average, this page, we see that we're reaching, about, I would say, let's see, a good portion, I'd say 7th every time. And then we have some posts that, maybe this one didn't do so great. So we'll go look, like, was it the time? Was it the content? Maybe we'll scrap this concept. What posts are doing well? So we'll go back and we'll look at these posts and see which ones are performing. And right here, this one sticks out like a sore thumb. It reached 1,200 people. It reached more people than follow the page. So something about this post was done right. And we'll go look at those things for our clients, if I can figure out how to use my laptop again. And this is what we would see. So that's that post that was 1,200 people. So shout out to Lawrence HVAC, and they are located over in Seekonk, East Bay area. Maybe somebody on this call knows them. So what makes a great post? Something that's engaging, something that catches their attention. So we use the word community, and maybe that like triggered some people, like, what is, Lawrence doing in the community? They're an HVAC company. Like they should be talking about heating and cooling or whatever. But you can see that we, broke up the content, so there's space in between. We also tagged MTTI, which is a partner of theirs that they're working with, and tagging is huge. Tag people whenever you can, not just to tag when it actually makes sense, but do that. If emojis fit your brand, use them, and then a compelling picture. So people always work really, really well. And when all else fails, throw in a dog. There's your dog. Nicole, anything else about posting? Like the content, the type of content? What else can I say about that?
No, I think you nailed it. Just making sure that you leave some white space so that it's, kind of legible. Like think about the same way that you enjoy reading like a website, or just keeping in mind that phone, because 80% of us, probably closer to like 85 now, are on a mobile device. These are screenshots from both. Is this a mobile or is this a
This
I
is
can't
desktop screenshot.
desktop? But just know that a lot of people are looking at it on a mobile device and it's a much smaller screen. And yeah, dogs always win. So.
And then you may be asking, well, they had 730 or 750 followers on their page. So how did they reach more people? They had a lot of shares in Facebook. You can see they had a lot of likes. So Facebook kept feeding this out to people. And then these shares will help them increase their reach to new audiences. The other thing, oh, here we go, posting consistency. Nicole, how many times a day should I post? Like 10?
No, dear God, no. So here we say if you have a large audience, the maximum, and you have a very active following, at most twice a day, 7 days a week. But when we say large, we mean thousands and thousands of people, like maybe even 100,000 people. Most of the businesses here, I imagine, are probably in more like the hundred, like a couple hundred to a couple thousand range. Once a day. Don't try not to do more than once a day. It's hard if you have a ton of information to get out. So try to get creative with it. But what happens is the more you post and people start to kind of, you become noise to people, and the less they engage, the less reach you're actually going to have. So we always recommend people post only once a day. Facebook is okay if you only post 3 times a week. It's not really going to go, crazy against your, it's not going to really go crazy against your algorithm, and it's not going to necessarily affect how fast you grow. That's got more to do with the type of content that you're posting, and whether or not people are actually engaging with it. As always, if you can post daily and see how it works for you, that's great. But a minimum of 3 times a week is also fine. And then making sure that you are, you're responding, you're interacting. So when somebody comments on your page, on your post, they have something to say, you're liking it or reacting to it in an appropriate manner. You're responding to questions in as close to real time as possible, responding to your messages, and resharing user-generated content, which if you took our Instagram, you know what user-generated content is. Just content that somebody did and tagged you in, and you get to share it or react to it and have a conversation around it. Keeping those posts short and sweet. So play with your followers, understand what they're looking for from you, whether they like long form or short form, but understand that there is a sweet spot for character count for most pages at 100 to 119 characters. But again, it's about knowing your audience and knowing what they're looking for from you. If you're a life coach, 100 characters is probably not going to do it. A full story is more likely going to be what they need.
When you think long format, think storytelling, guys. Don't think you're going to list, your 25 services out there on Facebook.
No.
Yeah. But think storytelling. And that's why you'll see those long format with coaches, because their storytelling is typically a way that they resonate with their audience, telling their
For sure. And I think we're about to answer this question, is trying to keep URLs and hashtags out of your content. So a URL is obviously the link to whatever you're posting. Facebook will have like a preview of the link, and you can, as soon as that shows up, you can actually delete the link you're using. And hashtags actually don't do great on Facebook. So if you are sharing content from Instagram over to Facebook, we recommend that you put your hashtags on Instagram in the first comment instead of in the post. It can actually limit your reach. It clutters the copy. It kind of makes the experience not as much fun. Again, thinking about how it shows up on mobile, Facebook will just show all of the hashtags, and it can be a little cumbersome and a little frustrating for people. And then I do have a couple of questions I want to get to real quick. So for the iPhone user that said, I'm confused what Reels actually are, we actually talk about that in our Instagram workshop. So we're not going to have time to touch on it today because we're actually still have a lot to go through in a short amount of time to do it. And then Monica, I can send you the screenshot, but our, Facebook Insights are in your page, in your manage page tab. You just scroll down and they're going to be on the left side, and it'll say Insights. And then Elizabeth said, did you say not to add links to your website that often? So as often as you can, you want to keep people on Facebook because that's what the algorithm likes to see. There's ways around that when you are using advertising, but we do recommend that you only link to your website every few posts. So come up with creative ways to keep people on Facebook, engaging, building that brand loyalty and that understanding of each other and that trust. And then on occasion, you can send them off to the website, but know that you will see a huge decrease in reach on that particular, on linked content, really, anything that sends them off Facebook.
We know it's hard to never use links, but like Nicole said, every few posts, because if you can, and there's creative ways around that. So, we can talk later about that, maybe a one-on-one if you need help with a creative way to approach it. I don't know if you want to answer a few more questions or if you want to fly through these.
That was it.
Yeah. Oh,
those are the questions.
So Facebook Lives, they do live on your page. Again, don't get discouraged if people aren't watching in real time, because they'll come back and watch. So, I'm happy with 161 views to hop on for 16 minutes and talk, basically about social media, which we talk about anyway. And if that helps people with the content, then great. But look back at, what videos are doing best. And this is showing me that Kaylee, our team member, should probably just always do the videos and me and Nicole could peace out.
If you can't see, Kaylee got 415 views.
Yeah, so look, and 15 likes. So look back and see what's working. Yeah, sometimes you get caught in unflattering little clips, but I think you can change that, but make them regular, make it something that your users can expect to see on a monthly basis. And again, when people come back to that page, even if they didn't know you were doing that monthly, those video contents are living there. So if they're super interested in your service, product, business, they can just quickly go through those videos, see the titles. Oh, here's one on, their bathroom remodeling services, or here's one on their catering, and watch a quick video that might explain to them versus reading tons of content on your website. Stories. So this looks familiar to Instagram if you were on the Instagram workshop. My main thing here is if you're producing stories for Instagram, just cross feed them over to your Facebook. I would not say it's worth creating stories just for Facebook at this point. I did notice, Nicole, when I was trying to find some good examples, that Facebook tended to put my personal friends first in the stories and the businesses were all the way at the end. Yeah. Not the same on Instagram. So again, cross promote them over from Instagram into your Facebook, but don't bother if you're just using Facebook. I would say maybe a story here and there, but it shouldn't be like a huge focus for you. But basically, as a story is something that lives for 24 hours at the top. You can tag people, you can use user-generated content. We do get more into that in the Instagram workshop. So I highly recommend going back and watching that one if you're really interested in stories. Anything else you want to say about the stories, Nicole?
No, I think you covered it. Is it's not worth. Unfortunately, it's not worth its own strategy on Facebook, whereas it may be on Instagram.
Yeah. I need a new mouse. I don't know. This mouse is. So events. This is a huge one. So I want to spend some time on events, Nicole.
Yeah, so just a little bit, because the big one for us right now is groups, and that's next. But so for Facebook events, Facebook loves a good event. Let's just be honest. I don't know, a couple of years ago, every other post in my feed or every other thing that I was scrolling by was so and so's interested in such and such an event, and you can also be interested in it. You just click, and so it's a great way to build. Not only it's sort of like building a webinar and having a conversation with your following, but if you upload it as a native Facebook event, Facebook will push it for you. So you can also, and when I say Facebook will push it for you, you do have to have some social proof. So you do have to get some people interested, post it, share it into different groups, different pages. We all know the networking pages and things like that. Build some social proof around it, and then make sure that it's something that people are actually interested in. But just going to the to the events tab on Facebook will show you the crazy amount of different types of events that are available out there. You can search by local, you can search by just global. Obviously, you know, you can go to the Vatican City virtually. Like, you can have conversations about things you're interested in. Facebook knows that I garden, so I get a lot of gardening events. And I would say the algorithm isn't as sophisticated here as it used to be, but it is also cheap on the advertising side, which we will talk about when we do our digital advertising workshop next in 2 weeks. So just something to keep in mind is that, you know, Facebook loves a good event. And if you're not using them in some way, there are really creative ways to use them. I can think of a couple right off the top of my head for people like Allie. And I think she uses them. I'm not 100%. I think you use Live too, Allie, but it can be a fun way to really bring people in and get a captured audience that you can then pull data from.
Yeah, there are creative ways to set up events, but as soon as I hear one of my clients say, oh, we're doing a job fair, or we're hosting a virtual webinar, or we're, you know, doing a networking happy hour, Facebook event, even if there is a paid campaign separate, like Nicole saying, Facebook favors those events because Facebook has seen people gravitate towards these types of events. So they push them out more so than just posting like, hey, we're having a virtual happy hour, that's a post. But if you put an event out there, Facebook will start to push that more because people, just like Facebook Marketplace, they love events. So Facebook's been really pushing the events out.
And I'm
Messenger.
sorry, I'm sorry, iPhone user. I don't know what your name is. It just says iPhone. But as I'm finding, I get a lot of spam on my events now, and I'm not sure. I would need you to bots or fake profiles trying to seek tickets to my events. So that sounds like something that we should talk about individually, because it's not something that I have had a lot of experience with necessarily, and it may just be that we need to change the way that the event gets set up. So if you reach out to us directly, we'll have a conversation around that.
Mhm. So Messenger is, businesses have Messenger, people have Messenger. As a business, you cannot message anybody until they message you. However, when they arrive on the page, you should have it pop up with some great call to action. So, you know, think about what your business is and make sure that you can change these, and then they lead to a certain, you know, place on your website, or a certain automated response will pop up. It can get pretty complicated, and you can put in chat bots in place so you could, you know, have a similar experience where it's logic and stuff like that. If they say yes, if they say no, they get this answer, they get directed here. But for the most part, you know, if you just get, you know, your basic contact info up there. If you're a restaurant, for instance, looking to make reservations, looking for our catering menu, looking for our location, whatever, you know, the top questions you typically get are, and you can link when someone clicks on that question, you can auto reply with a link or more info. Facebook will default sometimes and set a messenger up for you. So you may want to go check that it's not popping up for your page and people are getting the wrong options, because there are some like template messengers out there, and Facebook will just kind of fill in the blanks for you, but sometimes it's not right. So,
Yes. So
yeah.
just be careful of that. That's where that choosing your Facebook template from earlier comes into play. Is like, once you choose a template, make sure you go back and look at what the automatic messages that they set up are.
Yeah. And whenever possible, answer them as quickly as you can, because Facebook keeps track of that, you know, like they keep track of everything. So you can see here on Rhode Island Spirits typically replies within a few hours. So,
and they say it right there if it's time sensitive like that. I chose them because I love that they put they have it set up so that the user's name comes in there, because it's a little bit personalized. And then thanks for getting in touch. And if it's time sensitive, give us a call. So they're already setting that expectation. It is best if you can get back to messages quickly, but not everybody can. So the expectation is set so you won't end up with, at least you won't end up with angry users, even if the algorithm isn't happy. So
Facebook groups.
yes.
So I don't know, probably everyone here is in at least one Facebook group, whether it's the town group or it's like a networking group or something that you got added into early on and can't figure out how to get out of there. But groups are actually great when you join the right ones. So this is more for individuals. Businesses can join some groups, But, when you go in there, don't just spam and post your business services, have your business act like a person. So that gets a little complicated because not all groups have that setting. You have to be careful about group rules and the content has to be personal. So I think today we're talking about using groups from a personal perspective, right, Nicole?
No, not necessarily, actually. So we're talking about, using groups to sort of fill a top of funnel. So when we're talking about a top of funnel, what we're talking about is those initial prospects, sort of the audience that maybe they didn't know about you or they didn't really know a lot about you. So it's sort of top and middle of funnel. And without kind of going, too crazy, just what does a group help you do as a business? You do have to set them up as an individual. Yes. So going back to kind of answering that question, but it's you as the face of your business. So it works really well for people who are in service-based industries, for people who are life coaches, health coaches, so any sort of coach really. People who, one of our examples is a wardrobe specialist who is started using a group recently, and it's flourished. It's really taken off. It's very engaged, and she's using that to encourage people to use her and utilize her service in a time when she's struggling to do that because nobody wants somebody in their home. So she took it online. You can learn a lot about your prospect and your audience very, very specifically. Yes, Allie, the style Sherpa, she's here. She's one of my favorite examples right now. You also can use it to communicate that value more regularly. So where the Facebook page only allows you to post once a day, or you lose reach, groups, as long as people are engaging, that content is going to live and live and live and live. And that's the same on pages, but it's different because if somebody posts in the group, I'm going to get a direct notification that they posted. I don't necessarily get a notification that you posted on your Facebook page, but if I'm in your group, I'm going to learn that you posted. I can also follow just groups, which is something I do personally because I find my newsfeed a bit cluttered and full of stuff that I don't always want to read about. So I'll follow Messenger and I'll follow groups on their own.
Yeah.
So you're filling your top of funnel with engaged prospects, people who, maybe haven't heard of you or have heard of you, but now you're trying to bring them in and actually make them into clients. And it also gives you more privacy and control.
Okay. I think what I was thinking with using groups personally is part of our first presentation, COVID, and using, networking digitally and sales digitally, where you can go into other groups as a person and connect to make, real
Yes.
connections. But what Nicole is talking about here, when she says fill your top of funnel, some great examples would be, so for instance, if you're a solar company and you want to start a group, it shouldn't be buy my solar panels. It should be ways that you can live sustainably and green. If you're a restaurant right now and you do a lot of catering, then it should be ways, our cooking classes online, like they buy the kit and, you can help them cook at home or pair wine or something like that. If you're a fitness studio, ways to stay fit while you're home. And yes, you're giving stuff away in a sense, but it's also a way, like Nicole said, to fill your top funnel to get them to engage. And the Style Sherpas group is a great example how she does that, and the algorithm favors it, so you get that extra reach there. But don't start a business group and with the aim of selling.
Just promoting. And we have some examples of that if you'd like to see what that looks like. They're not in this because I wanted to focus on people doing it right. But there is a group I got added to that at one point was valuable, and then all of the sudden it just turned into promotion after promotion after promotion. And so people start leaving the group, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it over the long term it can be a problem.
Yeah, if we started a group, it would be small business, like digital marketing or social media marketing tips for small businesses. And we wouldn't be in there trying to sell you on our services, but it might get to a point where we've given value and some people are just like, yeah, I'm ready to talk to you because I can't, this is beyond me at this point, or I just don't have the time. So you're giving away, it is a good amount of time to spend in these groups, but they can be incredibly profitable for the right businesses and people.
So just real quick, like I said, you do have to set up your group as yourself, and that can cause a little bit of confusion sometimes. So you're creating your own group. You just find the groups tab, and it'll either give you your feed of groups, discover new groups, or create new groups. So you create it, then you link your page to it. So if you need one-on-one help with that, I mean, Facebook pretty much walks you through the process, but just let us know and I'll send you a few screenshots on how to do that. So I just wanted to make sure I reminded people of that. We only have 5 minutes.
Yeah, the more niche you can be in the groups, I would say the better. So we can talk to anybody who wants to talk about setting up a group, because it can work and then it can fail miserably. You don't know till you try sometimes. But one of the most successful groups we've seen, it was a woman selling home staging courses, and she had like over, I think like 7,000 people in this Facebook group. And yeah, every week she would get 2 or 3 people who would come through and buy her course just from her group. So stuff like that can really work.
For sure, for sure. So this is just to show you kind of like you have hundreds of options, maybe not hundreds, but you have like 100 options of how you set up the group, if it's public, private, how members get in, questions they have to answer, things like that. And again, it's a little bit step by step, and there's not really best practices. It's just what makes sense for what you're trying to accomplish. So that was just a quick, and this was just a quick placeholder group that we started because we're not ready for the time investment that a group takes. So
it's pretty intense. Getting people to groups. Oh, I wanted to block out his name, but anyways, Chris.
Sorry.
That's okay. Chris is a friend. He asked me if I wanted to join this group he had created for other people who run agencies to, talk about marketing, talk about growing our businesses, talk about the challenges in marketing. So, sending messages to people to ask them, never just spam people and just,
or don't just add them to groups.
Yeah, that's so
rude.
Yeah. So make sure that you invite people, but send them a message before, like let them know that you're going to be inviting them, or ask them rather if they would want to be part of this group. And, since he took the time to do that, I'm like, yeah, definitely add me in. That's cool. So don't just add people.
Don't spam. So the type of content you can post in your groups. I mean, it really is the sky's the limit. Again, it goes back to understanding your audience and what they're looking for from you. But it does need to be compelling. So on the left, we have just a really basic, a wonderful group that I enjoy because I can't eat dairy. So the Rhode Island Vegan Awareness Group. And the content that is posted is usually links to other good places to get food in the Rhode Island area that is vegan, restaurants doing it right, things like that. And there's at least 2 or 3 restaurants that are doing it where they post in the group. There's AJ's Garden Patch. It's actually all the way in Norton, but they get a lot of attention because they really revamped their entire menu to provide vegan options. And you want them to you want people to be interactive, so letting people post in there and ask questions is good. On the right, you have Galen's conscious dressing with the Style Sherpa, so that's where I was talking about this wardrobe redesigner. What's your favorite color to wear and why? It's perfect for her audience because it's an easy question to answer, and you can see that she has like 66 comments, tons of likes, lots of conversation, and she's responding as she goes. So interacting with the comments, just like on your Facebook page, but I think even more so, there's more value there. Sharing compelling or asking compelling questions, sharing valuable content, being clear about the group's purpose. So if at some point you are going to try to sell them something, be honest. Obviously don't say like, this is a group that's designed to get you to buy my services, but don't be like super salesy with every post. Don't over promote, don't spam, and try to have fun with it. So sorry, I was just looking at the questions.
I was going to answer that one. Yep, I'm answering right now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Ask for thoughts and opinions. People love to talk about what they think about things. So it's a great way to encourage people to interact with your content. And there's tons of examples of good content and bad content. Search some groups. You'll probably get a feel if you're in a group and you see that no one ever responds, you're looking at an example of a poorly run group. The questions are just not what people want to talk about. And then also test, because sometimes you don't know if people are test because you don't know what people want to actually talk about. And then once you figure it out, lightly kind of keep going in that direction. So that's what I have for group content.
How would you use a group to maintain retention of staff during these times? Facebook did try to launch like Facebook Work. I don't think that really took off, but you could have like a staff group, or we use Slack because it's just I think it depends on the size of your group. So if you have like a group of 10 people, like Slack is cool to just have like quick chats. But if you have 75, yeah, Facebook group might be cool because, employees who are working from home or team members during this time who are maybe not as connected, a group could be a good place for them to connect. But I do think you would still have to admin it, meaning like you'd be in there starting conversations, encouraging people to post, making it just like a regular workplace, right? Like you have to encourage people to participate in meetings and make it a safe place that they can talk about their challenges or put together a happy hour or take initiative, etc. It's actually a great idea though, Mackenzie.
So we're going to talk a lot about paid ads next in our next iteration. So basically, we're just reminding you that that's coming. Facebook is a pay to play platform. So especially if you're building a new page. So please, if you have a new page or you're struggling to build it and you want more information, if you're not interested in spending money on ads, that's okay. You can reach out to us and we can try to give you a little bit more information on doing it organically. Everything we talked about is really what you'll have to do to build an organic following on Facebook. But if you're interested in, able to spend a little bit of ad budget, anywhere from, $100 to a couple $100 a month, we hope that you'll join us on March 12th for our conversation around digital advertising. So, and the bottom line.
I'm gonna stop sharing so that Lauren can do a screen share. Someone asked a question about sending messages to get likes, and I think that's fine. I just want to say as a disclaimer, be careful how many messages you send a day if they're a template, because I don't know if Facebook has might classify you as a bot and then stop you from sending messages. I'm not sure if that could happen, but I feel like it could happen. So don't send like 300 messages to people asking them to like your page a day. So
That's not a good idea.
Yeah. I just didn't
So
want
if we can turn cameras on to all of our friends that were listening.
30-1002, I'm sorry.
Here they come.
We want to see all your lovely faces.
Oh, let's get rid of Allie's question. There we go. All right, everybody smile. Oh, there, Lynn, I love all your stuff in the background. Here we go. All right, let's see how that came out. Jennifer, to you.
Did you want to go over the bottom line slide, or
yeah, we can do that.
And if people have to head out, we understand, but I'm sure you've gone through this whole thing. You might want the bottom line. So if you want to do that really quick, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah.
So Facebook can be a great platform for reaching a wide audience. That's what the main takeaway for Facebook and kind of its audience. It's highly motivated by interest, but it does take a significant investment, either time, money, or providing lots and lots of value are the keys. And that's the keys across social media. We get that a lot. It's like, well, how do I do this? How do I make it happen? Time, money, value. Those are the things that you're giving up in some way, shape, or form to make your social media successful. If you're building and managing a group, make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons in a way that is good for your audience. And it can be the #1 way to grow a Facebook following without an ad spend. And then if you want to learn more about advertising, you have to join us on March 12th because we're going to basically walk you through how to set up an ad. So that was it for the bottom line.
Okay. Sorry.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I just wanted to respect everyone's time too. But we're definitely available to talk one-on-one. We do like 15-minute one-on-ones and digital audits. If anybody wants to head over to the spark.social, please feel free to do so. We'd love to answer all and any questions.
And does anybody have any questions before we wrap up? You have their information, so you can always reach out to them, as they said, on their website, email, give them an old-fashioned call, maybe. It's crazy.
Everybody do that?
Talk. But thank you guys so much. Another fantastic session for everybody. For those of you who would like to join us on March 12th, that information will be up soon. And otherwise, we have plenty of things going on at the chamber, and I'm always happy to answer questions. Lauren's here as well. And thank you all and have a great weekend. Oh, wait, John.
Oh.
Yeah, just one quick question. So I missed the Instagram one or the one previous to this. Is there a way to access that?
On Facebook, if you go to the chamber website, on a chamber page on Facebook, you can look back in our videos and it's there, and it'll link you to YouTube directly.
Okay, thank you.
I'll have Keely email it to you, John.
Perfect, thanks.
That too.
All right. Awesome.
All right. I
Thank you so much, everybody. And thank you,
Thanks,
Jennifer and
everybody.
Lauren.
Thank you to the chamber.
Bye. Thank